Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I am so excited for today's video because I have just received the brand new Nudegasm face palette from Charlotte Tilbury. So this is part of her new collection that's actually launching the day that this video goes up, which is August 19th. I did pick this up on the early access event and I got it on the 18th. I have to say their website is incredible when it comes to shipping. Before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. So this palette is part of the Super Nudes collection. This collection is a 90s inspired collection. This includes the Nudegasm face palette, which contains 4 shades retailing for $75. The Super Nudes Easy Eye palette with 6 shades, all a satin matte finish for $57. The Super Nudes lipstick available in 3 different shades for $34 each. And the Super Nudes eyeliner duo with a brown liner at one end and a nude at the other, retailing for $30. So I only picked up the face palette with this collection because the eye palette, I'll pop up a picture here. It's a very pretty collection, but I have all of those shades in my collection at some point, so I just didn't see the need to purchase it. The lipsticks I did consider purchasing, and I was pretty sure I was going to purchase at least one shade, but I honestly I wasn't really excited about any of them. The liner I almost purchased, but I'll pick that up later if I still want it. But this face palette though really got my attention. I did debate a little bit because it is so pricey. So the Nudegasm face palette, the box looks like this. Here is what the actual package looks like. How freaking stunning is this? So opening her up. Okay, so there is the Super Glow, the Multi Glow, the Soft Sculpt, and the Super Sculpt. So these seem to have some pretty different textures. Hope you can see that. This is super beautiful, and this is actually a fair size palette. It's the same as the Instant Look of Love in a palette. So you do get quite a bit of product in each pan, and each pan contains 0.13 ounces. So you also get a giant mirror in here. Okay, so my only thing with this is there is only the one face palette, which is fine, but does that mean that's really not going to work for all skin tones? The only weird thing is this seems to have 2 highlighters and 2 sculpting shades. I think I might actually use this one as my sculpt and this one as a bronzer. I'm hoping it's not too deep, and then I'll use this as a highlight. I'm thinking of using this as kind of like a blush topper just for the purposes of this video. I don't think the shade is actually going to look that great on me, but we're going to try it out. Okay, so I'm just going to take the shade Soft Sculpt and I'm just going to contour with that. Okay. I'm really not getting any pigment off of that, which is weird because I got some really good pigment when I did a swatch. Let me try a different brush. Let me try a slightly denser brush with that. Okay, that works a little better. Sure. So if you do want pigment with this, I see that you really have to go in with a denser brush, otherwise you're not going to get much out of that. I'm going to take the Super Sculpt shade and I'm actually going to do a bit of a bronzer with this. And these are really not powdery at all. They're very soft to the touch, but they're not at all powdery. Okay, so I'm just going to take that Super Sculpt shade and I'm going to try to do a bit of a bronze with that. Oh, that's nice. That is super nice. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a lot more contour than I would go in real life, and I will also note these are made in Italy, which some of the very best powders usually are. I know that's like the best for eyeshadows. Yikes. Okay, went a little too ham with that, but it's not bad. Okay, so I definitely used more than I typically would to bronze my face, but I really like it. So I'm definitely more bronzed than I normally would be, but we're just trying out some products. So let's take this highlight shade. This is the Super Glow. Let's take some of that. Okay. Okay, blinding highlight, yes. Okay, the highlight, very, very beautiful. And I actually got some powder on that highlight, so, okay, this is pretty. Okay, that highlight I thought would be a little too yellow for me, but not at all. This is beautiful. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna take the Multi Glow and I'm gonna use it kind of like a blush, but I'm gonna place it higher than I would normally. Ooh, ooh, pretty. Okay, let's see if that works for me. Like, it's definitely, I don't really go for shimmery blush it. I don't typically reach for shimmery blushes, but I'll give it a shot. I like it, actually. Surprising. Okay, I really do like that as kind of like a blush. I think it would be a better blush topper if anything though. Now let's regroup. I have all the rest of my makeup is already done, so let's just regroup and talk about the products. So Charlotte Tilbury's brand is a very wearable brand of makeup. I mean, her eyeshadows are beautiful, but it's just very wearable and everything is very elegant, and I feel like she kept her standard with this. This is beautiful. The packaging is so freaking stunning. These shades, very, very beautiful. The soft sculpt shade is definitely what it says. It is a soft sculpt in that it's really hard to find the pigment. So it takes quite a bit of building to actually get pigment out of this, which I wasn't completely sure about, but at the same time, if you're using it for like a light contour in your everyday life, it might be good for you. This one is probably better suited for a contour, but I used it as a bronzer just because I wanted to try everything out and I liked it. It's definitely much more pigmented than the soft sculpt, but the super sculpt is really beautiful and I actually kind of like the look it gave me. I definitely understand how it was this collection was inspired by 90s supermodel runway vibes. It certainly didn't turn me into a 90s supermodel, but I definitely see those vibes with those more, because the 90s was very much about nudes and bronzes and those types of tones, so I definitely see where they're coming from on this one. That highlighter is absolutely beautiful. I did not think I would like the highlighter. It just looked a little bit too gold for my taste, but I ended up really, really liking it. I think it's really pretty and I feel like it's actually a really safe everyday highlight. It's not going to leave glitter particles on your face. It doesn't. It's buildable and you can certainly make it blinding, but it's just a very wearable highlight and it just gives you that glow from within kind of look, which really, really made me happy. And it also doesn't give you that stripe of highlight on your face. This shade here is the one I'm probably not going to use nearly as much. I actually did use it as a blush today because that's what I actually saw done on their Instagram. And I liked it that way. I like it if I typically don't like glowy blushes, but just the tone of this one is beautiful. This is really, really nice. I think this is a really surprisingly wearable everyday palette. I'm shocked. I love it. So I love it for me for every day. That being said, this retails for $75.95 Canadian. Do I think you should run out and buy it? Only if you're my skin tone. Because I am a very fair skin tone and I had trouble getting pigment out of this shade. But I think if you're any deeper than I am, this is probably not gonna work. I mean, this shade could be a nice highlight on a deeper skin tone. This could be a bronzer on a more medium skin tone, but I feel like unless you are my skin tone, you wouldn't really get your money's worth of this product. And that's something that kind of bothered me. It kind of confused me that she would only come out with one face palette. Initially, when I saw the promos and I saw she was coming out with a face palette, it said 4 shades, but then I thought, okay, does that mean 4 palettes? Because that would actually be a decent range for a face palette. But to only come out with one is really confusing to me. I absolutely love Charlotte Tilbury as a brand and I absolutely love her products, but I have to say I am confused as to why there is only one face palette in this collection, because this collection is now simply geared toward fair skin tones. I mean, I'm happy because I can use it, but at the same time, like, there's not a lot of people that are going to be able to get use out of this. So while I love it, I don't think that you need to run out and buy it unless you're my skin tone and unless you're looking for a nice everyday palette, but that's also going to give you that glowy look. I love the healthy glow that I have today because of this palette, but it's just a little expensive. And it's really, really only geared to certain skin tones. So I hate to say that because you guys know I am a fan of Charlotte Tilbury. Some of her face palettes do the same thing though. The Instant Look of Love in a palette, Pretty Blush Beauty. This is beautiful, but they only came out with 2 palettes, and this is the lighter of the 2, and the second lightest one is better for medium, but not very deep. That being said, her foundation range is pretty good. Her concealer range, her bronzer only has 4 shades. It's not the best, but I just think they have some strides to make when it comes to their shade range of their other complexion products. But overall, I'm happy to have this palette in my collection. I love the 90s Super Nudes theme. I love how this looks on me. I love the look I created, even if I did go way too ham with the sculpting shades, simply because I wanted to try them out, but I like it, and I like the look I created. I'm definitely going to reach for this a lot, especially because it was really expensive, so I'm definitely going to use it. Just so you know, I love it, but again, this is really suitable for only a small percentage of the population. So that's the only thing that I'll say that I do find disappointing, but otherwise I really like it so far. So I really like the look I created. I think I look fresh, I think I look glowy, I think I look healthy, maybe a little too, no, I think it just gives me a really healthy glow. So I'm really happy with that. So I hope this video is helpful. I hope you will consider subscribing to my channel before you leave if you're new here. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. And that's where we'll leave it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. I appreciate it so, so much. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!